Guys, how we doing? Just want to talk a bit about Pure OCD today. So, for those that don't know, it's a form of OCD that has no physical compulsion. So it's all basically in your head. You'll have an obsession or you'll have an intrusive thought will pop into your head. Normally these are based around harming someone or sexual or very graphic like images in your head. So it'll pop into your head and then you tend to obsess about it. So it's when dealing with it, it's very uncomfortable. So basically the reason why I want to talk about that today is it's something that I've been through myself. So I'll give you a bit of a rundown of how it all sort of started and the first time that I first experienced it and how it affected me, I guess. So basically just growing up, life was pretty normal. There was, I had friends, went to school, everything was pretty sweet. Dealt with a bit of social anxiety, so that was like a bit of a challenge, but nothing too crazy. It wasn't until after school that I first got a job in a macadamia factory. So this was a very monotonous job. Spent a lot of time by myself and basically started to hate it. Started to feel pretty depressed in there. Didn't enjoy it at all. But that's when I first noticed this intrusive thought pop into my head, and it was, why don't you just go kill yourself? And this was like, I'm going, what am I doing? Like, why am I thinking this? Is this, am I suicidal? Or, basically what's going on? Like, am I going to act on it? So you start to get down the path of questioning why it's there, basically. I've now learned that this was just an intrusive thought. It had no meaning. Just like any of your thoughts are basically, you're the one that kind of gives it meaning. So when this happened, I was freaking out. I was like, you feel like you had to do something. Like, you're trying to push the thought away. You're trying to, avoid situations of, if you think about, I'm gonna hang myself or something, you'd see rope and you'd start to freak out. So you'd avoid whatever the thought's about, whatever you're fearing, you'd kind of avoid things that are associated with it. So that was, I guess, dealing with like a suicidal intrusive thought. And then a couple of years later, basically had my first relationship. So this was, I guess, it was all pretty new to me, loving it, having a great time. And then I remember we went for it was like one of our first dates, and we went driving out in the bush sort of area. It was chilling out and going for a bit of a country drive. So things were pretty sweet. We had the day off. We're like, why not? Let's just make the most of it. And then I had an intrusive thought pop into my head. It was, you could just kill her and get away with it right now. And I was like, whoa, do I want to kill my girlfriend? Do I want to, why am I thinking this? Am I going to be a serial killer? All this sort of shit. I'm just going like, this is messed up. So all of a sudden, it just became an obsession. And you just think about it all the time. You think of it basically controls your life. You can't go anywhere without having a reminder or a thought of like, why was I thinking that? Or like, I hope I don't get that thought again. So then you start to avoid the situation. You start to, you don't want to go on a drive with her again because that thought might pop in your head. So it kind of controls your behaviours. It controls the way you live in your life. And for me, it was very distressing because I basically came to the conclusion that I was going to be a serial killer. Like, it was going to start from here. It's going to start from killing your girlfriend, and then you'd be afraid to watch a horror movie because there'd be people dying. Or you'd be afraid to. If there's like a documentary on a serial killer or something, you'd obsess about that, and you'd avoid those sorts of things because you believe that it's a path you're going down, so you don't want to do it. Your morals are saying that, of course, you're not going to do it, but your OCD is saying that you are. So becomes just a mental mind game. This back and forth in your head. It becomes a nightmare. I had another experience with my girlfriend. I remember, we were driving to the Gold Coast and we were gonna stay in a hotel, and I was too scared to stay on a floor above like the first or second in case I drank too much and pushed her over the edge. So then you avoid situations by, I don't want to stay anywhere high, and it becomes very uncomfortable, because how do you tell your girlfriend this? Like, normally this is a person that if you're having worries or fears, and this is a person you can confide in, but not when you're picturing killing her. Like, I don't think she's going to take that one too well. So it basically, you kind of get stuck in your own head, and I think it's why it's important that awareness gets out, because I remember that feeling of this. I can't tell anyone this because, what are people going to think of me? How are they going to react? So it was very, very tough. Another example that is prominent in my life was gay OCD, or homosexual OCD. So thought popping into my head was like, I don't know, it might have been at the beach, seeing like a bloke with his shirt off, and like, he might have been attractive or something, and then, like, are you attracted to him? Like, are you gay? Like, do you wanna bang him and stuff? And I'm like, you go down the same path. Am I gay? Am I attracted to this? Like, do I like girls? And then you start to get a bit on edge when you're talking to girls. You're kind of like analysing your conversation. Oh, would a straight person say that? Or like, and then same thing if you're talking to a gay person, going like, wait, am I attracted to him? So it just becomes another obsession. You go on and on in your mind about, questioning who you are. So it was probably about 2 years, or 2 or 3 years of experiencing these severe, I guess, intrusive thoughts and reactions and obsessions. So I remember getting to a point where it got so bad for me that I was like, well, mainly based off the serial killer one. It's like, I can live with being gay, I can live with, I can't live with the harm one, basically. So I remember just saying to my mum, I was like, Mum, I'm having suicidal thoughts. I'm like, because basically it came to, for me, it got to a point where I'm like, I need to end my own life because I don't want to kill someone. So that's how crazy it got. But I remember getting to a point where I told my mum, and I said, Mum, I'm having suicidal thoughts. And at this time I didn't know that were just intrusive thoughts, that I would just, react. But I told my mum, and she referred me to, she rang the mental health hotline, and then the person called me up and was like talking to me, and then she ended up saying like, you're good and stuff, and I was like, yeah, I just don't know what's going on. And then I got referred to a psychiatrist. So this was the greatest thing that could have happened to me, because I was seeing my mental health care nurse at the time, and I guess I was slowly telling her about these thoughts, but she didn't know that it was a form of OCD. She didn't know it was pure O. She thought it was just a general anxiety disorder, and I just worry about stuff. So I got referred to the psychiatrist, and he basically said that, you basically spelled out the same intrusive thoughts that I have, harming people, being gay, being a pedophile is another one that sometimes would obsess about, and all these things are just so against who you are, so against your values, that it tends to be the thing you obsess about, because it's like, it's the questioning process. It's like, what would be the worst thing you could think of? It's like killing my girlfriend or being a pedophile. It's like, so you just start to worry about it. But he basically diagnosed me with having pure OCD, and And since that day, I've been basically on a bit of a journey in researching it and learning on how to deal with it. And that day, that diagnosis was a shift. It was okay. Now I know what I'm dealing with, and for me that was absolute relief. And I've watched a couple of other YouTube videos of people talking and reading comments and people going like, okay, that could be what I have. And I just remember when I cast my mind back to when I didn't know what it was. It was the scariest time, and I know there's people out there that had the same things that I did, and not being diagnosed was very scary. So I guess hopefully this video can help people understand that these thoughts are normal. Everyone has these thoughts. If you tend to obsess about it, it's just OCD. It's not who you are. So just going on to a couple of ways that I deal with pure OCD. So 1 hour a day I tend to meditate. Well, I don't tend to meditate. I choose to meditate because it's a way of just allowing me to be with my thoughts. You could have disturbing, intrusive thoughts that pop in your head in the meditation process. Your job, I guess, is to let it be, not react to it. And it's that constant reaction that makes it more powerful, that makes it more real, that makes you believe that whatever you're fearing is actually who you are. So since I've been meditating for, I guess, a few years now, but it's only really the last few months that I've tried to push it up to 1 hour a day, just to really just allow myself to accept these thoughts, just to let it be, and just I guess know that the thoughts aren't who I am, because that's, I guess, the most important thing, is that you are not your thoughts. If you're having all these thoughts, it's not who you are. So and another one is, obviously, I'm still seeing a psychologist. So this is it's now, I guess, at a point where it's more about managing my life opposed to dealing with these obsessive thoughts, because I kind of know what they're about, how they work, and all that sort of stuff. So it's more about just general worries, I guess, and how to just living a better life. I still tend to obsess, and it's normally when I'm feeling a bit down or whatever. Like you kind of go in cycles, but I guess at the end of the day, you know what it is. So it never quite gets as bad as it used to, because you know what's going on. So I think it's a very important thing. Also, just recommend exercise. I always feel a lot better doing a lot of exercise and getting out of the house, socializing, all that sort of stuff. Just makes you feel a lot better, and you can spend more time doing what you want, opposed to avoiding situations and living your life with fear. Just to wrap it up, I guess, the big motivation is if this can help someone in any way. It's going back to when I didn't know what was going on, having these thoughts. It was very tough, and I know there's other people out there that have the same thoughts that I do, the same worries. But if this can just relieve some of that stress and give you a bit of a reason as to why it's all happening, then that would be amazing. And guys, we're all on the same team here. There's no, you're not crazy, you're not a serial killer, you're not whatever you obsess about. It's not who you are. So everyone, good luck with their journey. I'm gonna keep going on mine. So life's beautiful. You just gotta learn how to deal with the things that are holding you back. So peace out, guys.